Hello everybody, welcome into a review video, huh? Do I kind of look like Forrest Gump right now a little bit? Isn't there a scene? I think there is, with the hat on and all this hair, except for his was fake. Mine is real. Good old Forrest Gump. You guys, today we're gonna be reviewing the Engwe L20 2.0. That's an upgrade from the 1.0, which I never rode, never saw, don't know anything about. This bike does have some things that you need to know. Look at this cute little guy. Or gal. Sweet little thing. Look at this sweet little thing right here. So, this Engwe L20 is a budget-friendly, let's call it a budget e-bike, okay? In the past, a lot of the other fat tire e-bikes, bigger tire and fatter tired e-bikes that we've reviewed, rode, seen, incorporated, tend to be more in that $1,500 to $2,000 range. Seems to be where most of those float. This little baby, under $1,000. We've got this little thing thrown together. As we go around through this, I gotta remind you, nowadays, you get what you pay for, okay? So if you're paying very little for something, and in the e-bike world, this is very affordable, all right? This is akin to the old Ford Escorts, the Honda Civics, you insert the blank, fill in the blank. You know what I'm talking about. This is what this bike is to the e-bike world. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have quality. A lot of those compact cars that are still on the road today and still being made, they have quality. They just have features about them that are cheaper, okay? So let's go around and talk about this. Okay, first things first, they send you with a small toolkit to assemble the bike. It's like 90% assembled, but they send you a few tools, a few Allen wrenches, and some metric open-end hand wrenches. These, get rid of. These work. The rest of your tools you're gonna have to find from your own personal tool stash. Here's a little example I'll tell you about. So here's a 10 millimeter wrench. It's used for putting things on like the headlight. It's too big. See that? It just spins around. So whatever die they were using to build these little disposable wrenches was not great. So you have to refer to your old trusty whatever your tool case is you keep in your garage, you're gonna need that baby. Use your metric wrenches to put this thing together. You can use their Allen keys, but other than that, you're on your own. I didn't bother to video any of the assembly because I just like to get right into the meat and potatoes. You guys, these really aren't that hard to put together. If you can follow instructions, if you can generally see how a bike functions, you're gonna be able to do that. It comes out of the box essentially looking like this, inside of that, all right? In a nutshell, what you're looking at doing, you're gonna have to attach the front wheel, line up the disc brakes with the calipers down in there, and that baby pops right on. You have to adjust your handlebars. You've got to put the front rack and light on and just attach them. One thing you want to watch out for a little bit is make sure you don't over tighten any of these screws. Just make them snug when you're tightening things. Let me show you a trick to making sure you don't over tighten. So right here, attaching this front rack. When you do this, over tightening often has to do with where you grab your wrench. So if you grab your wrench clear back here at the bottom and you're just reefing on it, you have a lot better leverage down here. Scientifically, you have more leverage here than if you grabbed it, say, here with 3 fingers. So what I recommend with things like this is to grab the wrench up towards the neck. If you don't know your own strength, you'll have the tendency to over tighten this and strip it out. And if you see, look in there, if you strip that out, you're just gonna be out of luck, okay? So don't over tighten it. Grab your wrench high on the neck. Do that about as tight as you can go if you're grabbing it from right here. If you're grabbing it from right here, man, be soft. I mentioned the headlight mounting. They stick it out here on the front of the rack, and I see why, because they just want it to be out of your way. If you put it on the handlebars, it's in the way. If you put it here and you're hauling cargo, you know I'm a trucker, I love cargo, gonna be in the way. So they mounted it to the front. However, I think I might undo this and mount it right here. It's the last thing to go together. Out of the way and protected by the top of the rack. See this? Top of the rack will protect it, keep it smooth. I think that's gonna be a better way. This seems like it's kind of prone, just sitting out there like that. All right, I couldn't take it. The do it once, do it right thing took over, and I took the light off of there with the approval of old Fredster Fred, and I had to get a bolt from the shop, but just got a little longer bolt and stuck it in there. So the light, of course, you see the problem we're gonna have now. I'll have to take a little zip disc and I'm gonna pop that off of there. so it's gone, and that light will forever burn bright. All right? My man Freddie, Weedman Weeds, he's my e-bike assembler. He loves opening these boxes, spreading everything out, checking it out, figuring it out. Now, Freddie can do this. He's 13 years old. He's a very capable 13-year-old, and I would say probably much more handy than most at that age. I know you can do it. Have faith in yourself, all right? Let's take this baby for a spin and see what we're dealing with. We got the juice, baby. Even has a little test mileage on it already. That's not for me. In order to go, you got to put it in to a speed mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, 1 through 5. I'm going to give you a guess which speed mode I like. Number 5. Doggy. I will say, y'all, I think it might be just a touch early to be out here cruising around doing e-bike review videos in the great state of Montana. However, I'm surprisingly having fun with this thing. It's very dainty in terms of bikes that I've rode in the past. And so it's a lot more like an actual pedal bike as far as the frame and the build. We'll look over that when we get back to the warmth of the garage, but I'm so used to them being these big monster framed fat hog things that I naturally am like, man, this thing's pretty dainty. I hope it holds up. And of course, time will tell, but it is built like an actual bike, like something you would pedal. You should pedal these as well. It helps save your battery and let you go longer and gives you exercise. I put a couple miles on it up and down the road. My hands are freezing. I'm like on Dumb and Dumber. Harry, your hands are freezing. That's me right now, even holding the camera with my bare hand out here. Ay, 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 ay. Don't let the sun fool you. Back to the bike. This thing, it pepped right up. One of the things that I love about it, the stances that you can come up with for this bike are really neat. Very upright and comfortable and in front of you. You're not hunched over. You're not having to lean way over like a typical bike. You lean forward like this, which can be uncomfortable for older folks. It's not any of that. It's very upright. My only regret is I wish I had one of my small children here with me to strap them to the front of this thing just to see how well they ride out there on the front of that. Something else I love about it being light, I'm going to see if I can kind of show you here a little bit, but you can just, I'm probably getting too old to be doing papa wheelies and stuff too much, but you can really pull it up and pop it, and it's fun. It's so much lighter than what I'm used to, and I'm already seeing that this could be something good for a trucker to be able to fold this thing down, lift it up on the back of the truck, and I think this might be the kind of bike, if a trucker's wanting to take something with him on the road, this might be the kind of thing you're looking for, strictly because of the weight. I think I got another shot of me. Gonna give you a little acceleration. This thing's zippy because it's so much lighter. It actually gets right out in boogies, like a booger. It'll probably be coming out of my nose pretty soon from the cold. She's got a pretty good pedal assist mode too. You in number 5 here, when I'm pedaling, I mean, obviously I'm just moving the pedals around. It says full steam ahead. All right, we're on number 3 now. Let's get moving a little. What's tricky about pedal assist, if you leave it on number 5, is that if you're like talking to somebody or somebody's walking next to you maybe while you're riding and you're pedaling your feet, it'll just take off because it's in number 5 setting, so it'll sense that. So let's see what number 3, if I can kind of just poke along here, like if I was chatting with someone. Yeah, still a little fast. Looks like number 3 wants you doing about 12, 13, 14. Wow, okay. We're gonna knock her down to number 1 here. Number 1, I'm walking, having a nice evening chat with somebody. Come on. Okay. Let's get a feel here. Oh yeah. So now I'm just lightly pedaling, not pedaling hard enough to actually propel the bike, but just for it to sense that the pedals are in motion. And that's right at 6 miles an hour. So looks like range 1's about 5, range, what was it, 3's 15, range 5 would be full speed, 21 to 23 miles an hour. Look at my poor cold hand. Pedal assist, well and good. Got a little, just like a motorcycle style throttle. I think I'm getting frostbite in my left pointer finger. Feels like it might have to be amputated. So we're gonna push this baby up the hill to the house here. Come on. Oh man, I only wish that I had someone here I could, you know the trick where you put your cold fingers on someone's neck? Oh. Okay, so that was 3.2 miles. 3.2. I guess it had a little bit on it, so maybe not quite 3.2, but at 35 degrees with no gloves on, 23 miles an hour. Go Google the wind chill on that, eh? So when I say the stance on the handlebars can go up so high, I mean, look at this in terms of the bike. The handlebars are straight up tall. You're sitting in an upright position, and you essentially just put your arms straight out in front of you. Also, with the frame dipping down like this, they call it a step through. So instead of having to swing your leg up, like a bicycle or a lot of bikes, you got to pull it way up and over. That's a step through. Just right, you're just stepping through the frame. Frame goes underneath. I will say that this bike felt the most trick style of a bike, of an e-bike that I've driven yet. I was like, wow, because like when I went up out of the borrow pit, it kind of rode the wheelie out. The bigger bikes don't do that at all. They go up and then flop right down. Then if it's someone smaller needing to ride, you can drop those babies back down. That's the low setting, which is still pretty upright. The seat also drops way down. Be a great bike for kids to be able to ride, grandkids. The bigger bikes can kind of be a lot to handle. I've had my kids drive a few of the bigger, heavier ones. They're just a little big. Now that reduction in weight comes from this frame. Now I mentioned this out there when we were riding around. This is a rectangular tubing. This is my adult thumb. I got normal thumbs. I'd say they're normal. Let's get behind where we can look. That's my thumb, that's the frame. And then as you work back to the rear tubing, it's more like bicycle style build, okay? Like you wouldn't go to a pedal bike and look at this and be like, wow, this thing looks like a piece of junk. Look how small the bike frame is. You would never think that. If you saw a pedal bike like this, you'd be like, man, that's a pretty sturdy bike. And it's using a Shimano gear system. You know, Shimano is what we always remember being like, oh yeah, Shimano. It is a little 7-speed. Got disc brakes over here. And honestly, you guys, disc brakes are basically standard anymore. So, you know, someone will tout disc brakes. It's like, well, yeah, obviously. So you can see, I mean, it's hefty. I mean, it's still like, I'm not like a beast, man. But I got a little strength. Lock it back together. Bing, bang, boom. Good to go. Now let me share with you a con about this bike. And I just want to be very open about this because... Man in Black, what do you think, Fernal? You gonna take it for a rip? Yeah. All right, do your thing. She likes that. I think she gives it 2 thumbs up. All right, you guys, well, that's gonna about wrap it up. I'm gonna give this thing all in all a big old thumbs up. It's light, it's spunky, sporty, and it's affordable. A couple things, all right? I'm gonna tell you at the very end of this, the price tag on this and you're gonna go, huh, well maybe this is my time. Something I want you to know about is that this bike does not have a UL certification, all right? UL certification is Underwriter Laboratories. It's where you can send your product, pay a lot of money, and have them completely dissect it top to bottom, front to back, and declare that it is built to top industry standards. They'll put their stamp on it, and it just adds, you know, a little feather in your cap of your product. I know some of you have written messages before talking about the dangers of e-bikes with fires, okay? Here's the thing you gotta realize. Fires are a danger with any battery, period. Doesn't matter if it's an e-bike, a semi, a car, a cell phone. Every battery has the potential of catching on fire. I did a little reading on this, and there's just a couple things to know. The electric bikes that have been burning down, there's been kind of a common thread they found, and they've been really, really cheap bikes. I know this is a cheap bike, so you're going, well, yeah, that's the one you're talking about. It's not just that they're a cheap bike. Doesn't mean if you have a cheap e-bike that you didn't pay a lot of money for that it's guaranteed to burn down. Here's the other thing. Here's what happened. They were buying cheap e-bikes like this, and they were using them to do like food delivery and parcel service, package delivery around the city. We're running these things nonstop. Everything has a life. It has a start and a stop according to its quality, all right? And they were running these things like wild every day, day in and day out, recharging them constantly, running them down, charging them up, running them down, using it in a way that it wasn't really designed. If you wanted to use an e-bike to run a parcel service, you're probably gonna wanna go spend like $4,000 or $5,000 on an e-bike that is really made to have a gazillion charge cycles, et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to be clear, because I've mentioned UL certifications before, because as a safety measure, they say, look, it's best to buy a bike with a UL safety certification. And Engwe has not spent the money to have this battery UL certified, okay? Does it mean that it's going to explode and burn down the first time you charge it? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that you might not want to use this thing as a commercial delivery vehicle, okay? You want a bike that you're gonna buzz around evening times, go for bike rides, do this and do that with. I think you're looking at a pretty good option. That being said, is this like an illegal bike? Is it like CD, like underground because it doesn't have a UL certification? No, not at all. It's not illegal. There's nothing illegal about it. Getting a UL certification just simply put you into this upper tier of legitimacy. Am I a UL certified trucker? No, I'm just kidding. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that this bike is extremely affordable for a few reasons. We mentioned, you know, the size of the frame, smaller tires and things. Also not purchasing a UL certification, sending this battery in and having it all dissected and torn down allows this bike to be affordable. I had a great time riding the Engwe L20 2.0. Bing, bang, ba-boom. Here's the price tag on this, you guys. $799. That's cheap. You guys, until next time, be good.